Hey guys, so we're kind of winding down on our SFD project that we've been doing for the last couple years. So I've been out here doing a lot of cruising the last 2 weeks, trying to get as many samples as possible. And you can see we've had a lot of rain. The road behind me is flooded in a couple places. There's actually water moving across the road here. And I've been finding a few snakes, but I actually found something right here in this flooded section of road that I wanted to show you guys. And let's see, get them out of the tub. Right here is a little Florida Softshell, Apalone ferox. A really cool turtle species, and I actually found him in this flooded section of road. I thought I'd highlight this species for you guys today. I've always been really fascinated by softshell turtles, and they're just so unique from all our other water turtles here in the US. And here in Georgia we have 2 species. We have the Florida Softshell, like this guy, and then we have the spiny softshell. And there's also a smooth softshell, but it is not found in Georgia. Now of the 3, the Florida Softshell, this little guy right here, can get biggest of all of them. An adult, mature female, probably average about 15 pounds. However, females, the record for a female is over 90 pounds, which is absolutely massive. So these turtles can be quite large. So this turtle obviously still has a ways to go. He's probably only a couple years old, and you can still see the pattern on his carapace pretty clearly. When they hatch out, they're very dark, and they have those spots on their carapace. They're very distinct, very contrasting carapace. They also have a very dark plastron when they first hatch out too. You can see that's lightened up a bit. So he's got a couple years on him. And you can see remnants of some stripes on his face. However, those are fading. They were likely yellow or orange when he first hatched out. But those will continue to fade, and they'll continue to become more unicolor as they gain age. So there are several things that set softshell turtles apart from our other aquatic turtles here in Georgia. And one of the most obvious is probably the shell. Just like its name implies, it does have a very soft shell. As you can see, it's pretty flat and streamlined. It allows it to be a very fast, agile swimmer. But there is bone in the center, running down the spine of this shell, and there's some rays shooting out towards the edges, but a large percentage of this shell is cartilage, which makes it very flexible. It doesn't have scaled scutes on the top like other turtles. It's just got this thick, smooth skin. And so this shell helps them do a number of things. The spiny softshell, which is more of a river species, will navigate lots of rocks and lots of fallen trees and stuff in the rivers. And this soft shell allows them to navigate through tight spaces and between hard objects without getting stuck. It's kind of flexible and then squeeze through spaces. And all soft shells are quite adept at burrowing in loose soil or sand, especially on sandbars. And so this soft shell allows them to bury themselves quite quickly. I actually have a video of that. I found a large adult soft shell a couple months ago, and I released her into a nearby creek, and I'll let you guys watch it and see just how quickly a large soft shell can disappear. So in addition to a really unique carapace, softshell turtles also have very unique faces. As you can see, they have a very snorkel-like nose, and their eyes are close together on top of the head. And that's very advantageous for when these turtles are in cover, they're buried in the substrate, and they need to get air. They can stretch this really long neck out They have incredibly long necks. They stretch that neck up to the surface, use that little snorkel to get a breath of air. Those eyes can maybe survey what's around and then pull back down into the substrate without ever having to leave their hiding spot entirely. It's a very cool adaptation for these turtles. And as you can see, they're quite defensive when you pick them up, and they're that long neck, he's showing it. Not a turtle I would recommend anyone to go around and pick up. They're hard to hold on to, and they can deliver a very painful bite. And a large female could deliver a very serious bite that would need medical attention. So very careful with these turtles. Even though they're really cool and this guy is really cute, I definitely handle them with care. So like I said earlier, the spiny softshell is more of a river turtle, while the Florida softshell here is more of a turtle of stagnant wetlands or slow-moving water. So you'd find these guys in things like lakes and ponds. You find them in oxbows and occasionally in slow sections of rivers. You get them in ditches or cypress ponds, stuff like that. Definitely in water that has very little current. And while they're in those wetlands, they're going to be feeding on a wide variety of other animals. But the major portion of their diet is actually invertebrates. They eat a lot of snails, they eat a lot of crayfish, a lot of insects, stuff like that. That's going to be the major portion of their diet, even large turtles. And then they'll also be eating things opportunistically like fish and maybe frogs or small snakes. And maybe carrion if they come across it. They're not opposed to scavenging like most other turtles. And they will consume a little bit of plant matter, but the majority of their diet is going to be invertebrates. Now there's one other really cool adaptation that scientists believe these turtles have that help them with their aquatic lifestyle. And that is underwater cutaneous breathing, which is essentially these turtles are able to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide through their skin instead of their lungs, so that it'll allow them to stay underwater for extended periods of time, to hunt or to hide or whatever, just be more efficient underwater. So that's really, really fascinating and just makes these turtles just that much more special. So I thought I would show you guys the release. I got him out of the road there, out of that flooded section, because there's a lot of big trucks coming by. I didn't want him to get hit, so I brought him into the woods here, nice hardwood swamp, and I was about to film him, and just like a softshell typically does, gave a quick kick, and they're quite slippery, and he slipped right out of my hands. So this is where he went. I was gonna film it, but oh well, that's how it goes sometimes.